Well, Luke, welcome to Radioacktiva, man. How are you?
I'm great. It's a miserable day outside, but I'm smiling inside, and yeah, feeling good. Feeling good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine too. It's Bogota. It's a bit cold today, but so far so good. You know, handling the quarantine like everybody else, so it's great. And then enjoying a lot the new record, man. I gotta say, what a great album.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And
Glad to hear
I've
it.
been I've enjoyed it a lot. Of course, in Radioactiva, we played some of your previous hits, like "Could Have Been Me," but I really get into this new record, and you know, you guys have this New York Dolls meet T Rex thing going on that I really enjoy. So it's quite amazing. Of course, something that comes up as soon as you listen to the whole record is the several collaborations. So what were you looking for in the collaborations you picked for the album?
Well, the decision to kind of bring other people in was really just an experiment to
Mm,
see if we took the songs as far as we could bring them, and then whoever wanted to be involved could do so, take the songs with them and play over it and just see what happens. And for anyone who was like playing, it turned out to be really good. And then the singing was even better. It just kind of elevated the songs. It took them from like what was already good to like really great and way more character. So it was just an experiment that I'm glad went well.
yeah, and you know, stylistically speaking, I don't know if that's even a word. um, you pick very different kind of musicians. You know what you get when you bring Robbie Williams or when you get Tom Morello to play guitar, but still, it sounds like the Struts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with the songs came so much from the members themselves, and like I said, the songs were written before the collaborations got involved, so they were kind of just they were always just sprinkling a little bit of fairy dust onto what was already great. And it might have been completely different if we was to have sat down with
Uh-huh.
nothing and say like, what are we going to do? So I think that might have to do something to do with the fact that it still sounds very much like us.
I think it's great. You know, it's a lovely record. Absolutely.
Thank you.
When were these songs written?
They were written in Los Angeles, and they were all done and recorded in the first 7 days.
Mm,
Then the last 3 days I spent singing them all. So it was pretty non-stop, but I had a lot of lyrics and melody ideas, titles, sort of like about 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the sessions themselves. I was working like every day trying to come up with something, trying to do something else. And Adam was working a lot on riffs and things.
mm.
And by the time we all came together, once we started writing, I think the reason why it was so prolific was because I had so many ideas, like lyrically, to talk about. Because when you're writing
Uh-huh.
songs, you spend so much time. You can spend a whole day on lyrics, just like, what are we going to say, and what do I want to talk about and stuff. But I already had so much, so it was kind of like, right, song done, next one, let's do another one. And then they'd play something, and I would look through my phone and my notes to see what would sound good and suited it, and voila, it just sort of like happened every time.
Yeah, but you know, very cool. And okay, you mentioned 7 and 3 days. So the whole thing in the intro of the song you did with Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, like we have 10 days to record an album. So is that true?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, no pressure then.
yeah. We
Cool.
did well. We didn't even know we were going to do an album. We gave
Mm,
ourselves 10 days to maybe do 3 or 4 songs at the most, because we're used to working on a song for about 2 to 3 days. And first day, we after the initial setup day, you're getting all the sounds and getting the drum kit sounding good and making sure that we could all play together. Yeah, we wrote 2 songs on the first day. So we were like, okay. And then the next day was another 2. We were like, And then the next day was another 2.
Right.
So it was accidental. We didn't even mean to.
Okay, I wanted to ask about when were these songs written because of the title. When they told me about a Struts record called "Strange Days," I thought, okay, so this is a message we're gonna get from a record, like we are all living in a strange days. And I believe that somehow our relationship with music has changed a bit during lockdown. We sit down, we try and listen to more music. I think I'm very poetic in this. I think music has now more value than ever because people need arts to be at home and enjoy life a bit more.
I agree with you. It's something that I've been saying quite a few occasions, that now is the time for artists, bands to be putting out music, because it's like we're kids again. We can't go out. We can't go to concerts. We're not like,
Mm,
we can't go see our favorite bands and discover new music. We're kind of back in like an adolescent stage where we're just sat at home like you are with all your
yeah.
CDs behind you, and maybe a glass of wine or two, and just listening to it for the sake of it and enjoying it like that, and letting your imagination kind of do all the work. And that's inspiring, that's important. So I don't know, it could, nobody's gonna come out of this year the same as they went in, and I've got a feeling everything's going to change. I think people will run and rush to get to live shows, and wouldn't it be great if our audience just quadrupled because of how excited everyone was to get back out? That would be nice.
That'll be nice. You guys got to come down here. You have more followers than you probably imagine here in Bogota, at least in Colombia.
No,
I'm sure you'll be impressed.
I'd love to come to Colombia, absolutely love to. And I mean, I don't think we haven't done a show there.
No, so you've never came to Latin America or Brazil or Argentina or something?
Yeah, we've been to Brazil, Sao Paulo
Uh,
for Lollapalooza.
okay.
And then other than that, I think that was our first time. And then we were set to do it again this year. And,
Man,
Armageddon.
bummer. Okay, how I've read, since you mentioned, the whole record coming out so easily and having all these tracks and all these things in your mind. How do you stay productive on a creative field when since you are in a lockdown? I've heard lots of people that are having problems and struggling with a creative process since they somehow feel they're being pressured to be creative but still in lockdown.
I know what you mean. I think it's just a case of not being so hard on yourself. Like, I'm doing a guitar exhibition where I'm painting these guitars. I'm also working on music, and amongst a couple of other things. And some days I literally can't be fucked. I literally can't. And of course I'm doing interviews, and I'm taking like the
Mm,
odd meeting, and I'm writing emails and things on top of that. And I'm also trying to stay fit, so I'm running and whatnot. And yeah, sometimes just can't be asked. And I think it's all right to do that, as long as you have enough self-discipline to be like, you know what, I'm gonna sit and watch TV all day and eat some ice cream, and next tomorrow I'm gonna get back on it. If you can have the self-discipline, then
uh-huh.
I think you can do it. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's very easy to slip into the, oh, I'm not doing anything, oh my god, oh my god. But nobody was really doing that much before lockdown. I think that's what we're forgetting. We were doing what we needed to.
Okay. You guys, of course, are no strangers to covers, so I have to ask about the Kiss song "Do You Love Me" on the record. How and why that one particular song?
Well, I always create a reference playlist
Hmm.
when recording music. And before we did the Strange Days session, me and Adam were actually working on a follow-up album to Young and Dangerous, which began in November last year. And that carried on in January. And on that list, I had the girl version of Do You Love Me, because I loved the sound of the drums. I loved how like just simplistic it was. So I was always listening to it, bringing it to sessions, saying, we need something like this. And then I'd play it and kind of get people in the mood. And and then after I started speaking to Joe and Phil from Def Leppard, I found out that Phil used to play guitar for the band Girls. So his band recorded the version that I love.
Okay.
So my theory was, okay, why don't we, I bet you if we do this song and I ask them, if I ask Joe and Phil, they'll come on it. They'll be like, yeah, we'll do it. So we did. And then after the sessions, I then called them up and sent it to them. And I was like, what do you think? They were like, nah, we don't want to do that. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, we'd prefer to do something new, you know, something original. And I was like, okay. And then I gave them I Hate How Much I Want You, which turned out to be a much better choice. So we were left with this cover without any kind of like features or the features I intended. And I was like, we were like, fuck it, let's keep it. It's still fun. It's like I think it's the best version of the song available. I think it's better than the Kiss version. It's better than the girl version. Our version's the best. So we have the official best version of Do You Love Me?
Man, you know, sometimes that happens. You know, some bands sort of appropriate a song when they do a fucking good cover. You know, I think it happens, and I think it's possible. I love how big the record sounds. You know, it was like 6 in the morning the first time I listened to it. I like to wake up early. I listen to lots of music. I'm constantly checking the radio station and all that. And I went out for a jog. I'm not good at sports really, but I try to walk a lot because I live in a small apartment, and I needed to walk. So I put on my headphones and I started walking and I played the record, and it gave me this feeling of big. I'm not a musician, so I wouldn't know how to translate what I'm trying to say here, but I hope you understand. So I wanted to know where was this recorded, and somehow, um, how did you guys build this sensation? It happens a lot at the beginning of the record. The first song feels so big. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is the big sound came from the smallest studio we've ever recorded in. So I bet you the live room that we had was smaller than your apartment. So it was just in a very, very, very modest studio, and you have a control room and the live room. The live room had a grand piano in it, Gef's drum kit, and a settee, like a couch, and that was it. And that was crowded, right?
Okay.
So take a drum kit, a grand piano, put them together, and a couch, and that's how big it was roughly. So Gef's drums were in there, which is weird because when you're recording, a lot of people tend to record drums in big rooms, like Led Zeppelin when they recorded in the mansion, they did it in the
The
stairwell.
stairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like this myth, but I think thanks to the advances in like recording technology, we kind of put all the cloths and tea towels over his skins and his snare, and it gave it the real dead sound, like a poof, like a 70s glam dead sound, and it just sounded huge. We didn't know why. We were like, what's going on? John Levine had never recorded drums in that room ever, so it could have been an absolute disaster, but it just sounded great as soon as we started playing. And I think it sounds big because our last two records, we put loads of guitars, loads of everything, loads of voices, lots and lots and lots. And funny enough, when you sometimes less is more, and the less instrumentation you have, sometimes it sounds even bigger. So when you listen to like Another One Bites the Dust or T-Rex, a lot of the T-Rex songs, there wasn't a huge amount happening. Gary Glitter, Not a whole lot of instrumentation, but White Stripes, it just sounds big, even though there's only three things happening. And we kind of took the same approach. We were always like, no, 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 not too much, not too much. It was two guitars, piano, that's it, bass and drums. And that was all that we would try to stick to. And I think it gave it a bigger sound.
Yeah, well, that was the feeling I was getting, and of course we're now thinking about the pandemic and how we are in lockdown. So I was thinking, how did they record this? Because it gave me that feeling when I listened to it early in the morning. So it was great. Um, I love how musically you have this feeling, this 70s glam rock kind of thing on the Struts. Has that always been, like your aim towards music? Because you are all very talented. I mean, you could play anything stylistically, but still you have this, what I was saying on at the beginning, you have the New York Dolls T-Rex kind of thing going on there, and I really liked it. I really dig it. So I was wondering, these guys could probably try lots of things, but they're pushing towards this feeling musically, and I've
Yeah,
enjoyed it. But I wanted to know about the style of the music you pick to play.
I think it's definitely our most glam sounding record. And
Mm,
I just feel like when you get a glam-y, glamish type of song right, oh, I mean, they're good. They're really good. If you can write Come On, Feel the Noise, or Get It On, 20th Century Boy, Rebel Rebel, um, like, Do You Want to Be in My Gang? And like they're just great. Like Ballroom Blitz. I mean, when it's done right, it's done right. And I think we do dip our toes into like a lot of different styles, but
mm.
we will always we're always looking for the perfect kind of glammy song because they're just great. I love them. I do anyway. I really push for it. I'm like, come on, we've got to get it like really simple, and yeah, we tend to kind of always give it a good go. And I think we've given it a really good go on this record. It's probably the most sort of like glammy 70s foot stomper songs that we've had on one record. But we also really enjoy switching it up. We don't like to stick to one thing because we get bored. And that's why Am I Talking to the Champagne is kind of there, Burn It Down, Cool, another hit of Showmanship, Wild Child. Those are very different songs. And that's just us just going wherever we like. It's like we'll go here, like have some fun, and then when we get bored of that, we'll go here and we just do what we want. We don't like to give ourselves a musical ceiling.
Mm.
It's like sky's the limit. Like we can do what we want. So we enjoy that.
Okay, well, Luke, thank you very much. That's it, man. Have a very nice day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.